I am so embarrassed at my baby's behavior, Kathryn.
Well, I was wanting to say to give him kind of a alibi.
Okay.
When we were talking about the Light Collective, they came in. Now they're not coming in like, I'm not telling them, no, don't be scared. But they, it's kind of like, oh, I heard our name, we heard our name, whatever, and I'm sure he picks up their energy.
Okay.
Dogs and animals in general see, hear, sense things that we don't do. And so he's probably picking up, he's probably, to begin with, maybe a little threatened by who are these that weren't here before, and protective of him.
Yeah. Well, he was over there barking and he kept interrupting, and I was so interested in what you were saying, and I'm sitting here going, everybody's going to think I have not trained this dog, and he just wanted to be,
He just wanted to be part, but I really think he was protecting them. He didn't know who they were, and that's what dogs do. And he's very much of he views his function in life to be your protector.
Yes. Well, and that's
very
really
sweet.
It is.
Now mommy has to feel.
Well, I locked him in the bathroom. I guess I had to do something.
Oh, poor baby.
So he's probably eating toilet paper right now, but that's fun. So why not?
Yeah.
So yeah, going back to Terry's point about us being an integral part of what goes on, I kind of thought, and this is part of my ignorance, that in the minds, so to speak, of something like the Light Collective, that we'd be maybe like pets at best. I'm shocked that they really care.
Well, they not only care, but they care on a lot of levels. I mean, they don't consider us to be pets. They don't even consider us really to be less than equal. I mean, they consider us to be at least equal, and sometimes they speak about us as if we are, like I said, some sort of integral part of, well, certainly we are. One of their principles, the first one, as a matter of fact, is that we're all one with everything, everybody, including them, and Henry, so that we all, and that's how intuition works. We know what's going on with other people because we're part of that person or being or entity. But apparently, we also are quite unique in the sense that we have free will, and a lot of the dimensions don't.
Really?
Exactly. I mean, angels, for example, they've given this example. This maybe will offend people, but angels work for God. So, to a large extent, they don't have free will.
You will be love and light, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. Go to the world, or go destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. They're not always all that nice. So remember that was an angel that wrecked, turned Lot's wife into a pillar of salt. But we do. We have free will, and because we have free will, we can choose consciously to live in the love vibration, at least as much as possible. I have to say I don't always do that, but I'm working on it.
You bring up the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
and
I have a very good biblical background.
oh, well, that.
My parents made darn good sure of that.
How do you work that together with, because I can hear some fundamentalist Christians, and when I first and when I first met you, I was like, now wait a minute, let's have a discussion here. Is this lady a Fruit Loop?
Pretty much, yeah, but
You're not, but I did, and I mean, and I did challenge you on that. And how do you integrate the Bible and the Light Collective and that?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yes, and so do the Light Collective, and I mean, I totally believe that there's a God, and I also believe in the Bible and in the tenets of the Bible. I think there's more to it than, I think the Bible is I don't want to say limited, that's not good, but it does, and plus I really believe there's an awful lot of wisdom there that isn't being, there's all sorts of prophecy, there's all sorts of talk about people who can prophecy, there's all sorts of people coming back from the dead, there's all sorts of miracles, so, that's one of the wackier books, that we have, if you look at it that way. So I don't see it as a conflict. I do know many, many, many people do, and I honor that. And
do you think
respect
that's because of going back to fear?
Going back to fear, and I think, honestly, a lack of knowledge of what the Bible says.
Well,
Right.
could it also be the manipulation of organized religions who have it in their best interest to keep people in a certain mindset?
Well, exactly. And again, what the Light Collective says, and I believe it's true, is we're being manipulated not only by our religion, certainly by religion, media, governments, all kinds of people. They want to keep us in fear because that's a very good way to keep us controlled. And so that's the information we're getting. And so they're coming in and saying, well, let's look at it from a different point of view. Even the economic so-called crisis, they don't believe it's a crisis. So they say it's a good thing. So
Did they elaborate by any chance?
yes, they did. Actually, they said that those of us, many of us, have actually created this. Going back to about 40 years ago, when we were hippies, or and we were looking at a way to change the world, to live more communally, to live more simply, to have wealth distributed more fairly. And we have held that as a vision of what we wanted for our planet. And it's now coming into being, but like all things that come into being, like birth, it hurts. And it particularly hurts those of us because nobody wants to go down. Nobody wants to have less, nobody wants to make less than they did before. Their concept is if everybody makes less, then it's not less. If your salary goes in half, but so does the price of living go in half, then you're basically doing the same thing.
Is there sort of do they see like a comeuppance for people, quite frankly, like our own Tom Petters?
Yeah, or Madoff.
Or, exactly.
I don't know that, they're not big on comeuppance.
Okay.
They're not big on punishment, but I do think what they're saying is that sort of wealth was not bringing them joy. And certainly if we could talk about Petters, I don't know him, but when I read about him, he does not seem like a joyful person to me. It doesn't look like that amount of wealth made him happy or joyful or loving. And that would be their point, is that if it's not making you happy, joyful, and loving, maybe that's not what you want to be striving for. So it's not a punishment for being mistaken, but it's still a mistake.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, we just tackled the economy a little bit with Kathryn Harwig. Let's take a
Ask me anyway.
Yeah, well, trust me,
I
I've
have
got some
another
more-
question that will be coming out, definitely.
Absolutely. We'll take just a moment here at Live with the Laugh.